Good morning or good afternoon based on your time zone, or maybe a good evening for me based on my time zone. Let's welcome Aarti Anand to OpenTechTalks.tv. She runs Codenyx AI, an organization who helps organizations to embrace an AI. And especially nowadays, we are in generative AI. So let's welcome Aarti to the show.
Thank you, Kashif. I'm excited to be here.
Thank you so much. So, if the listeners are new, right, and they don't know who's Aarti and what she is doing it, so maybe it's the best time to introduce yourself.
Of course. So I've been building software products for 15 years. And then a couple of years ago, I came to this sort of a two lane in my career where I didn't want to do a 9 to 5 anymore. I'm a mama of 3 kids, 2 dogs. I wanted more time, more freedom of time, location, and money. So I
Okay.
decided to quit my job and I started a new business. And then as soon as I started the business, I registered the LLC. I had no idea what I wanted to sell. So that was the first puzzle that I had to figure out. So I went and I talked to lots of other business owners and I just asked them about their problems, what they were working on, what they needed help with, what did their day to day look like. And as I was talking to them, and they had been running their business for a while, a common theme emerged is that everybody who runs their business wear lots of different hats and they wear them as badge of honor. So busy is good. And I hated the sound of it. I was trying to leave my 9 to 5. It didn't make sense to start a new business and become the busiest employee in it. So at that point, AI and automations came along. I saw that as the vehicle that I wanted to use to create the type of the life I wanted and the type of the business I wanted to run. So I just started implementing AI automations in my business, and whichever we saw that was successful, we basically went and we started selling to other business owners and we automated their lead gen. So they had a constant lead flow. And then we automated their proposal generation. So now they weren't wasting time on writing customized proposal for every single prospect. So that just became the product line. And that's what I do. And I help other businesses adopt AI so they can also build the life of freedom that they wanted before they started their businesses.
Okay, let's pick up one thing, the 9 to 5 job. Okay. And then realization that you don't want to continue that one. Now, that's a key aspect. Right. So it's not you just one day decided that, okay, I'm going to leave 9 to 5 job. So maybe for listeners who are listening and they're getting excited about that one. So maybe give us some more context to it that what have you done, how you overcomes those challenges, early challenges of, you also mentioned that, okay, you started speaking to people, what should I do or what are the business challenges? So that will narrate the story with bigger context that, okay, it's not just leaving 9 to 5, there is a background work which you have done it.
Of course. And there's a lot to unpack here. So I'm happy to go that out. So I think everybody wakes up and they do something that they want to do, right? And there are times in your life when you start to question everything you're doing on a day to day basis and what the rest of the life could look like. Now, being a mom and just being around my young kids, I think I hit that point when I turned 40 where I started to question everything I was doing on a day to day basis. When I was in meetings and my twins were there and they wanted more of my time, I just couldn't tell everybody I'm going to take off and take them to swimming classes. So when you hit that point where you want to have more freedom of how you're spending your day to day, that's when you start to question and that's when you start to look for options. So I don't think change happens unless you're unhappy with how you're living your life today. So that happened to me when I turned 40. So at that point, I started looking around, well, if people are not doing 9 to 5, what are they doing? how easy or difficult it is to leave a job that's high paying. What do you do? Like one day you just wake up and you don't have that job, then how do you figure out what to do next? Comes from a perspective of what do you want your life to look like when you're 70 years old, and you reverse engineer and you hold yourself to daily standards today. So you're building that life that you want to live at the age of 40. So that seemed like starting a business made sense to me. We were also living in 2024, 2025, where I strongly believe anybody who has a computer, so a laptop, and a Wi-Fi connection, they can be anywhere in the world and they can sell something and then make a living off of it. So the third thing is, well, what do you want to sell? So that's where I think I found my magic wand is in AI and automations. I am a product leader. I've been building software for 15 years now. So building software comes naturally to me. And it's
Mhm.
even easier in the age of AI, where you conversationally, in plain English, tell it what to do and it'll build it for you. Where I get an edge over other people who are starting out is I have been building software products for so long. I've done the strategy, I've done the product market fit. Now I
Mhm.
use all of that and gain the business knowledge. And then AI is my technical arm, which I tell what to do and it does it for me. And when I need a little bit more help, where we have many projects, so right now I think we're working on 20 projects in parallel, so that I need other people to help on, where I do the sales call, I bring in the cash in the business, and then
Mhm.
I hire people who are the experts in that particular area, and they do the fulfillment, so I don't have to sit down and do the fulfillment. So I think it comes from a questioning how you're spending your day. Are you happy doing it? Then stay in 9 to 5. Business, running a business is not for everyone, just like
Right.
being in a 9 to 5 is not for everybody. So when you question, then you figure out what is it that you want to achieve in 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now. Then you go figure out a person who's already there. You go
Mhm.
pay them, get the blueprint, and you follow that piece by piece and you'll be there. And then fourth is, I think, where I've made a change in my life where other people struggle is I default to action. I don't sit down and plan for days and then none of those plans come to fruition. I basically default to action. I fail faster than anybody else, which
Mhm.
also means I'm gonna win faster than anybody else because I'm willing to lose all the time.
Okay, that's great. Now, you mentioned 20 projects. So, is there any patterns are being emerged, which are some of, when I say patterns, mean some of the common use cases or maybe some of the trends, which, and you mentioned two earlier, lead generation and a proposal, I think, preparation or generation. So maybe you can touch base, okay, what are those common patterns which you are observing it and how you're taking it up?
Yeah, that's a great question. So think about it. If someone wants to sell you something and you're running a business, which one is the easiest for you to be convinced on? Either it prints you money or it saves you time. Those are the two KPIs that we have whenever we want to sell something. These are the two KPIs I look at. So most of the businesses could use more leads today. So we sell lead generation and we have automated that process through cold emails, and then it
Mm-hmm.
runs on autopilot. And once it's set up and it delivers you the results, then you can rinse and repeat the system every month. And like I said, it runs on autopilot. So it takes 0% of your time. But if it gets you 10 consistent leads per month and you close 50% of them, then you have 5 new clients that you can fulfill every single month. And that's a great place to be for the majority of the businesses. That's anything that's directly tied to the revenue. It's easy to sell, and we have figured out a few solutions in that sense. The second is where, as a business owner, your hottest commodity is your time. If you're wasting that on a $10 an hour task, then you're taking all that money out of your business, right? So
Mm-hmm.
wherever I
Mm-hmm.
can save you time, and there are many ways I can, which is if you're writing customized proposals and it takes you 2 hours to write every proposal, let's say as a business owner, you cap your hourly rate as $250 an hour. So by automating that, I just saved you $500 for every proposal that you were going to sit down and write manually. And if you're writing 5 of them per week, then we're saving you 10 hours a week, which is 25% of your time. So that's again, that's an easy sell because it saves your time. So those are the two metrics I look at. Either it prints you money or it saves you time.
And how do you offer to customers? Is it a service or is it something you build a product and which you productized it and now you're offering it?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we start with service. If this is something that we are selling for the first time, it starts as a service. Then we have a lot of AI prompting we do as part of that service, to the point where we get it productized after second or third time we're delivering. It's productized 80% of it. So that's how we run our AI audits today. AI audit is something that's a product. It started as a service. We sell it to businesses that are making 1 million to 10 million a year top line revenue, and they have 10 plus team members on their team. So their internal operations need to be streamlined, automated, and audited. So AI audit is one particular product that started as a service, and it's productized 80% now. And that's what we are doing with all the other services that we offer.
Okay. With your, again, going back to 20 projects and the hype on the generative AI in the market, what are your early successes gave the ROI to the customers?
Yeah. So I think our biggest win came from the cold email automations, which
Okay.
is tied to lead generation. So if it helps you bring in more leads, then we just gave you, and let's say you're selling a high ticket price of 5,000 or $10,000. We gave you 10 leads. That's an easy six-figure business if you were able to close all of them, right? Now, that's not very realistic. So every month, if you're able to close 20, 30%, so that's what you're making. So that is the one that's how we started, and we sold a bunch of them and we got lots of results. So that was a instant bestseller. The second one is AI audit, because once we audit, and it depends on what size of the business we are auditing, the latest one we have done with 30 plus team members, that business is set to have cost savings of up to $400,000 a year, just with the top 15 workflows we have given them that they are ready to automate now.
Okay.
So that's
And
half a
when you
million.
say, right, and when you're saying audit, it's mean basically you are reviewing the existing processes and then you're proposing an solution which is based on an AI and which can automate it. Okay, that's what
Yeah.
you're talking about, AI audit. All right. Now, definitely the road must not be an easy road, right? So, what are the common challenges organizations are facing, and maybe you are facing in your project?
Yeah. I think for anybody who's running an AI first business and trying to sell that to other businesses, where I see people struggling, and that's where we struggled in the beginning too, is to figure out what to sell and then how. So, what was probably the hardest part, but I didn't realize how hard the how was going to be. So, I'll give you a framework that I think will help anybody who's trying to go that route. So, go back to the metrics that I said. Either it has to be tied to the revenue or it saves them time. If what you're trying to sell solves one of those, it's going to be a no brainer to sell. And second, I follow a very particular sales script, and that's the how. You need to have conviction in your offer before anybody else does. They're going to ask you questions, but of course, they're going to spend their money with you. Your offer has to be a no brainer for them, and try to deliver the value before you take their money or have a price back guarantee. And that's very Alex Hormozy style of selling that I do, but it works. That's why everybody follows it. You have to give them the peace of mind they need because they're investing in you. Unless you have 50 case studies under your belt, at which point you know it's going to work and you don't have to have the price back guarantee. So
Mhm.
that's what my recommendation would be. And then the how is not just the sales script, but most of the business owners who are trying to get that route and they are in the first 1 or 2 or 3 years of running a business,
Mhm.
you need to default to action. It's gonna scare you jumping on the sales calls, but just show up anyways. Because once you do the reps, you know what works and what doesn't. And you take
Mhm.
those learnings and just show up on sales calls. You do 50 sales calls, you're gonna be a professional and nothing is gonna scare you. Most people do not make the offer at the end of the sales call because they are worried they're gonna say no. And that's okay. Your
Mhm.
offer is not for everybody and you're also not for everyone and not everybody is for you. All you
Mhm.
need is 5 clients every single month, and if you're selling it $1,000 automation,
Mhm.
you're easily a 10K per month business. So that's what my recommendation is for any business who is trying to adopt AI. I want you to be curious, ask questions, create a group of entrepreneurs who are also trying to adopt AI, and ask them who they are talking to, what's working for them, what is the first thing that they should automate. You come from a place of curiosity, you're going to go so far. And anybody who's trying to catch up with you in 12 months from now, it's going to be very hard for them to catch up.
Right. You're absolutely right. And now, from a customer's point of view, who were trying to do, and you just touch base to that one, have you figured out any recipe from a customer's trying from a standpoint of view that, okay, there are challenges on their existing IT ecosystem, applications, maybe technology and all that, and then bringing maybe generative AI or agents into that one? Any recipe you guys got into over the course of last 2 years that, okay, that gives, yes, you don't need to worry. That's some of the ways we need to embed it into it. Any thoughts on
Yeah,
that?
absolutely. I get this question all the time. People think that they have to go wake up tomorrow and run the whole marathon in a day. It starts small. So start with one process or workflow that your team is on board with, and they see that if we were to automate it, it'll save them time or headache or a certain number of hours a week. You start small and automate it or get someone's help, and
Mhm.
then collect data around it. And in a month, you'll see the ROI, and you take that data to the team. You show them what's possible. And then when we do the audit, if you see the list of workflows and the order I give them, it's always starts with low effort, highest ROI.
Mhm.
That's the first workflow that you need to automate because it's going to take you less time, but it's going to give you the highest return on your investment. You start there, go all the way down to high effort, high ROI, and that particular one maybe will be in your 12-month roadmap. But if I were to give you a 90 days roadmap of which workflows you need to automate, most of them will be low effort, high ROI.
Okay. And I think I'm just rephrasing this I or IT audit to, it's basically the use case selection and then prioritizing it, right, based on their
Exactly.
existing processes.
Yeah.
Now, and you prioritize it and you're giving to them based on your priority criteria. And coming back to, from an adoption point of view, are those, when you start prioritizing, and you said that, is there an adoption challenges coming from our organizations traditionally, which we used to have those change management and all that, but as we are seeing it, that consumer as individually, there are more working on AI in the chat GPT in a personal world, and in the organizational world, it's less right now adoption. So are you getting any challenges on adoptions?
I think we get the top three I'm going to give you. One is there is a big knowledge gap where they don't know where
Mhm.
to start. which is
Right.
why I created the AI audit, because I was
Mm,
already doing that as part of road mapping. If I were to work
mhm,
with someone and I want to
mhm,
make sure we're automating the right thing, I had to do the audit anyways. But now we're getting paid for it because we productized it, right? Not having enough clarity on where to start is one. So that you can easily overcome by just filling the knowledge gap either by yourself or hiring someone to do the audit. Second is, when you start, you get the pushback from your team. Because
right.
think about this, as the CEO or the business owner, you're sitting with people who have that
Mhm,
vision of where they want to go 5 years, 10 years from now. Your team doesn't get to hear those conversations every day. So they're actually not wrong by questioning you. So
mhm,
you bring that knowledge back and do regular trainings. That's why we
mhm,
created AI workshops, and
mhm,
that's how we try to fill the gap. And third, once your team is on board, you don't see that as replacing them, but you actually use AI to get to your goals in 3 years, the goals that you were trying to get to in 10 years. So if you do the investment in the right place, then you'll
mhm.
see the ROI faster and you'll be able to move faster than your competitors, which is everybody's trying to do in their business, and they should. So these are the
Mm.
three I think top I see, and that's how I would address them, and that's how I train teams to address these challenges.
Okay. So how you identify the required skills or the teammates, because that's the key area. And as the technology is new. So maybe, and the reason for this question is whoever is listening to us, maybe they can get insight from you that, okay, some of the traits you look forward for hiring maybe, or taking someone on your team who's working actually on the AI projects.
Yeah, that's a great question. And I'm so glad you asked it, because we see a shift happening today, but not everybody is able to jump on the board. Why?
Right.
Because they have fear. They fear, what if they're comfortable in what they are doing today? And they fear, if I change, what if I fail? Right? That's how I started 2 years ago when I left my job and I wanted to start something new. I had all those fears. It probably took me a good 4 or 5 months to figure out what I wanted to do. Fear is the first thing that holds people back. When I hire someone, I don't hire them because of their background, what they have done, how many products, what languages. That's irrelevant in the age of AI. We're trying to do something new which hasn't been done before, and we are part of the pack, and there's very few in that pack, right? So we're part of the early adopters. So if fear holds you back, you cannot be on my team. That's number one. So the skill set I look for is the mindset. Are you willing to change your identity to get to where you need to go? So identity is number one. Any other skill, any technical skill, that's all irrelevant. I can teach you all of that. But if you're not the person with the right mindset, then we won't be able to go very far together. So that's the only thing I look for. That's why a lot of people came to me, they wanted to work with me. And then there were
Mhm,
a lot of people who reached out to me because they wanted their kids to do internship with us. So what
mhm,
did I do? I created two coaching programs.
mhm,
And now I run AI for youth and then AI for business. Anybody who
mhm,
wants to work with me either within my business or they're
mhm.
trying to adopt AI in their business, but they have the time, not necessarily the money to spend with us,
Yeah.
but they are early adopters. They have the time. They want to sit down. They want to learn. Then they go through my AI for business program. And
Mhm,
any kids at the age of 9 to 20 who wants to
mhm,
get there, but they don't have the type of the mentor they're looking for. And at some point, they also want to do internship with us. So I run AI for youth program where they come in and we have twice weekly coaching calls. They're building their products in the most advanced fashion without any knowledge of any language, and they're loving it and they're showcasing it to everybody. And the part that I'm changing every week as I sit down with them, I'm changing their identity and I'm changing their mindset. So they are fearless. They come on the calls and they ask me all sorts of weird questions, and I don't mind. And that's what they are
Yep.
becoming.
That's excellent. I liked it. AI for youth. Wonderful work. Okay, so maybe before we conclude our session for today, so how is it so far, the journey from commercially viable point of view? Have you started making money? Are you comfortable that this is the route now after spending 2 years? You want to continue? Where do you stand?
Yeah, we're a very profitable business right now, and I'm
Okay.
so happy with where we are. The reason why I'm happy is I get to create the culture in the company. I also get to create the hours that I want to work. I have full freedom. I also get to, the way I work is I have my containers of sales calls, proposal sending, my coaching calls, my client fulfillment hours. And by creating those containers for myself, that's how I protect my time. The energy that I need to bring on a sales call is completely different the energy that I bring when I'm guesting on a podcast versus the energy that I need to bring in when I'm fulfilling and I'm in front of the client. So by containerizing it, that's how I'm protecting my energy, my sanity, my hours of work, the freedom that I'm trying to create. And in 2 years from now, the goal is to get to a point where I have someone running the business and I'm just overseeing it to the very high level. And I have fulfillments going on in the back and AI audit, which is still true today, but it's going to even become bigger, which is the entry point for anybody who wants to work with us. And then we'll have departments of sales fulfillment, marketing automation fulfillment, and then will be people who will be throat to choke for every piece of that part of the business. And that's how I intend to run it. But that's what I'm creating piece by piece.
Okay, and you're open for any technology, so you're not bound or attach yourself to. Oh, okay, I love this technology, and no, I will work only for that.
No, because I mean, we're in the age of AI. There are 10 different tools that are out on the market every single day. And we have to keep up too. And we have to be at the forefront for our clients so they don't have to go worry about if we're using the latest and the greatest technology. At the end of it, I just tell everybody we all have access to these tools. Now, that doesn't mean everybody's going to succeed and make money
Right.
from the business. Why?
Yeah.
Because that's where the business strategy and that's where the willingness to take risks, that's what defines who gets and who wins and who loses. So in that sense, again, we're leading the pack in a very fearless way. We're willing to lose more often than other people because we know the more often we try, we're gonna get to the end, the finish line or success faster than anybody else.
All right. Thank you so much, Aarti, spending time with me and the audience. Now, if someone wants to reach out to you or maybe on any social, so what is the best place?
Of course. Please go to Instagram, follow me. My handle is RTAARTI Anand 82. If you go follow me there and then you tell me that you came from Kashif's podcast show, I'm going to
Oops.
send you my free lead magnet, which is going to be the AI readiness score, playbook, audit playbook, whichever one you want. I'll give you for free. But go follow me there and then just send me a DM and I would love to talk to you.
Thank you so much for joining, Aarti. Thank you. And thank you for offering this.
Of course. Thank you for having me. It was a blast.